if you know how to read the stars, then all you got to do is watch until you learn how to read how the stars affect what's going on the ground.
Hmm.
It's just like everybody know when a full moon happens, some bullshit gonna go down.
Mm-hmm. That's real. That's real too.
Up on them full moons.
Yeah.
Which made them develop a term called lunacy.
Yeah, because anybody's ever worked in a hospital can tell you about that. That's real. That really happens on full moons.
On full moons, they double up the staff in the ER.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody finna act a fool because they can't control that feminine energy, especially the men. Because he can't control his masculine energy, his feminine energy making crash out.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's deep. Shout out to Kelsey LC. Who declares war on their people? Well, we're not their people. The people that declared the war, that's why they did, because we're not their people. Do one of y'all want to?
That's the great illusion right there. It's to make us believe that we part of their victory.
Fact.
We not part of their victory. We not part of America. We not part of none of the stuff they got going on in DC.
Facts.
They just imposing their will on us because they got guns and we don't. That's why they was fighting so hard to ban the right to bear arms. They didn't want to get rid of it for the good old boys. They wanted us to not have a right to bear arms, so they wanted us defenseless.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere where the people who don't have a right to bear arms, the people are defenseless against the tyranny of government.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what has kept these suckers from doing a full-fledged lockdown slave system across the land, because there's too many good old boys. Now, there's too many good old boys and homeboys with heavy artillery, but the heavy artillery they got ain't nothing compared to what their military got.
Mm-hmm.
Their military got secret weapons for quiet war.
Yeah.
You would think that you wanted to shoot your homeboy because he looked like the enemy, and all the time they planted that thought in your head with a projection module.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize, oh, damn, I shot my homeboy. I ain't mean to do that.
Yeah.
I don't turn on man.
Yeah.
Oh, man, how the hell I shoot my homeboy?
Okay, how does because we when we talk about war, excuse me, we really are at war in a lot of different ways. How do we determine or differentiate the different types of attacks and the different types of elements that are being used with war? And when I say that, I mean because you have people out here who are using sound wave technology or frequency, you know what I'm saying, attacks and strategies. They got mind control. You have these devices, the technology can penetrate the mind and the subconscious. So we're being inundated with so many different levels of attacks, right? How do we know, or how can we protect ourselves from a lot of these attacks that are happening in regards to the different types of
we become susceptible to them when we don't know who that voice is in our head talking. You should know your voice in your head. You should know your mama voice in your head, your daddy voice in your head, your sibling. So when you doing something and you hear a voice in the head, that ain't no familiar voice. That ain't me. Right? This is why they keep saying the knowledge of self. Man, know thyself. Because once you know you, even the nature of what's being told to you to do is going against your nature, you're going to be resistant to it.
Facts.
Right? That's like Puffy. You don't send no straight dude to bring down a whole field of sissies.
Right.
You send a freak. Y'all laughing, I'm dead serious. You send a freak to catch a freak.
Right.
I am too. And I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna bring this. I started this comment because I wanted to answer this one personally. So I'm not sure who this Mother Tree and Moon is, but they said first time here. Just want to know if this is more FBA crowd or the L or BLM. I get it. It's no disrespect, but this is a crowd of upliftment, empowerment, and win with the bullshit. We here and we ready to do whatever it takes by any means necessary for us to get equality and to get control over all of our collective experiences as a people. That's the type of crowd that you have. So all
I don't
that
want
other
equality. I want my birthright.
Right. We want the
taking shit
land.
back where and putting it back where it rightfully belongs. Let's just put it that way then. But that's what you're dealing with when you're dealing with this crowd. Like we don't get tangled up into all that other stuff, but we do share what we need to for the people those who have the ears to hear and those who have the eyes to see. That's who we are. That's who we be. So I'm okay. We can jump back in. I just wanted to address that one because I held it because I did want to address it. But you're right about the Diddy thing because at the end of the day, to me, he seems as if he's just a smaller scale Epstein. So what's the difference between the two?
Epstein was an asset, just like Diddy was an asset.
And what did they do, or did they do anything for them to get flipped?
Yeah. They say Diddy bit the hand that feed him.
And I remember when he did it too. I remember the interview and everything.
Yeah, anytime that you don't want them to have jurisdiction over you, they can't really monetize off your creativity. It's kind of like the same shit that what Tory Lanez is going through, everything that Young Dolph went through, Nipsey Hussle. Anytime you try to break away from the system to where you have full autonomy over your creativity, you cut out the middleman. So there's no other forces or no type of external forces that's getting paid off your creativity. That's why if you're doing anything as far as music or acting, don't when you get that contract, cross out the word actor and artist and put creator. They already know what that means. It gives you full autonomy over your work.
You dropped the jewel with that.
Yeah,
that's real.
Look, the middleman is the only way they can steal from you.
Yep.
The artists normally love the art so much that the business part of it never crossed their mind. That's what made Michael Jackson so dangerous.
And Prince. And Sam Cooke. That's why they waxed Sam Cooke.
And Otis Redding.
Yeah. I heard
the list goes on.
Angie Stone.
Yeah.
Whitney Houston.
Yep.
So anytime like you cut out the middleman, like they can't monetize off of you. So it's like one of those, like you said, it's get down to lay down. It's either you play the game or you break down, you break down the system with truth. And that's why they came after Tory Lanez.
No, Tory Lanez was a fall guy for a reason. Right. Where did the girl get shot?
Was it Miami?
She got shot in her foot.
That's it's the Masonic ritual.
Yeah.
Now, do you mean the location of where they were, like environment, or the body?
No, where was they at? Where did she get shot at on her body?
Oh, okay.
Foot, that was supposedly her foot.
Yeah. So whatever role she was playing, that was her sacrifice to stand firm on her position, his position.
Let me ask you this, Big Chief, because my mind be running 1,000,000 miles an hour, especially when I be on these calls. So I love the movie Harlem Nights. Does this have anything to do with when Quick was about to get his ass tore up and Big Mama like he shot her in the toe?
You shot me in my pinky toe.
Hey,
listen. Look, is there any kind of correlation there? Because listen, I'll never forget that part, man.
They were showing you old New York life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shooting people in the feet, it means something. And the worst thing to do, they say, is shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah. Hence that quote. Shoot yourself in the foot.
It's a Masonic code. If he didn't shoot the girl in the foot, who shot her in the foot?
Right.
Her fingerprints wasn't on the gun.
Right.
Or his fingerprint, whatever the hell he is.
Make it make sense.
So it's only one more person.
That
was Meg, wasn't it?
There was another woman in the vehicle with him, but
her friend, whatever.
Supposedly she stepped on some glass. That's what she said in the
That
video.
was her original story to the police, that she stepped on glass, but they know gunshot wound from being police.
Right.
And they was like, you ain't stepped on no goddamn glass. Who shot you in the foot? Then the witnesses told who shot her in the foot. But they was on the body cams talking. They was talking to the police The police was listening to him, taking notes while they was telling the police who shot the shot. They didn't say it was a man on the scene at the time that it happened.
Right.
This why the boy daddy was going bananas.
Facts. Who you think did it?
I don't know. There's only one option available left.
Right. So for
You know,
this,
so but the question is, why did they throw him to the wolves?
He was supposed to be a sacrifice, right? Or they wanted him to be a sacrifice, if I'm not mistaken.
Why did they sacrifice him?
he made $1 million off NFTs without he cut out the middleman.
Bing, 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 bing. We have a winner. He learned how to make money and make his fans make money with him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And put that shit in the public.
Can't put it on Front Street. Can't put it on Front Street.
He already broke contract right there.
Yeah.
He wasn't under contract. That's what made it so bad.
Mm.
He wasn't under contract because didn't nobody want to sign him. Because they didn't believe in what he was trying to do.
And why would they? Because they're all part of the system. You know, the corporate model.
He bypassed the system. He stepped on their toes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he stepped on their toes, they shot Megan in the foot.
Oh wow.
Wait.
You gotta rewind that back.
Yeah, we gotta throw it in reverse. We gotta run that back. And then run it back. Some people didn't. One more time, Big Chief.
If he stepped on their toes, they shot Megan in the foot.
Yep. That makes a lot of sense. And it's kind of like the same thing they doing with Yaki. You know what I'm saying? He's been getting a lot of threats. They're trying to stop him from putting out, certain books and doing all these healing retreats and everything. Like, it's the same thing. Anytime you cut out the middleman, you're always going to be a problem because that denotes the fact that you the glitch.
But they also have to put an obstacle in front of you so people can know where you at. It's like raising the flag.
Right.
He over here. He over here.
Right.
You ain't legit until the motherfucker come against you.
And I wanted to talk on that too because I personally have experienced I know it was my little test, but I'm like, fuck y'all niggas. I'm gonna say that again, fuck y'all niggas, because I ain't scared. But anyway, Nick Cannon went through the same thing. Think about it. When he started doing what he was doing, you know what I mean, and like putting out consciousness, and he was working with a lot of the leaders of the conscious community and all that, and then they went for him. And my thing is, I don't know what all that was about from his own internal introspective or internal perspective or intentions. But my thing is this: if you sign up for this life, I'm gonna quote Professor Smalls, you got to know it's freedom or death. So if you're not committed to go all in like that, you probably shouldn't come out here doing this type of work because they will come, and it's like, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? Because for me, it is what I'm from the thought of Jean Jacques Dessalines. Like, nigga, you leave me in the body and let me do my work. Because you fuck around and take me out, I'm really gonna work. So, so fuck around and find out if you want to. And that goes back to what you say, Big Chief, about hoodoo, voodoo, like what, Ifa, like whatever you want to talk about. When you talk about the spiritual aspects of all of this is when it really gets deep, because certain people they'll mess with and they'll do whatever they can. And I feel like, unfortunately, some of those people don't have access to different levels of protection. And I feel like that's why they do what they do to certain people and how they do it.
And it's also one of those things where it's kind of like they tap Nick Cannon on the shoulder, because if you notice, ever since he did those lives with Young Pharaoh, he didn't put it on the internet. He did one with Yaki. I don't think he put that on the internet. And it seems like he's being controlled opposition now, and he's being used to surveillance certain people who is manipulating the system with truth and healing, anything of that apparatus.
Oh,
you know what his struggle was about, right?
What?
He chose to break the dynamic of the nuclear family.
Yep.
Or one man, one woman. They don't want us to know that if we have a sisterhood of women that they like to call a harem,
Mm-hmm.
Sister
our
Wives, yeah.
power, our internal power
Increases
from them, from a group of women loving us,
significantly.
make us so much more creative, artistic, and overall powerful,
Yes, sir.
right? And when we come through, some of us come as a family redeemer.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are approached by a rightful heir and they solicit you, that's she in your club.
Mm.
As the family redeemer, you gotta protect her interests like they was your own.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Mm.
what they don't want you to know about the old systems that they trying to keep us away from. They trying to inhibit the spiritual power that the men get from the women.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If the women can live in harmony, a sisterhood, they focus all that mitochondrial force to his mitochondria,
Mm.
right? And that's how you empower him to be a great conqueror. He can conquer without ever raising the knife,
Mm-hmm.
just by marrying the right women.
Mm-hmm.
So that
That's
woman,
how King Solomon got so powerful.
Yeah.
that's
Genghis
a,
Khan.
the energy of the woman is gonna put that energy in your back. She's gonna put that battery in your back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same concept, you know, when you're playing football, when you was playing basketball, when you was a little kid, and the girls come in, and then all of a sudden you want to show off your moves or whatever. The same thing takes place when you're trying to build civilizations.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You got to
Facts.
impress the matriarch. You know what I'm saying?
The Taj Mahal is a prime example.
Yeah,
Mm.
Prince wanted to stunt for his wife.
yeah.
She was just one of the wives in his harem, but she was the one who had his heart. So he wanted to stunt for her, so he built her the Taj Mahal. She never got to see it finished before she died.
Mm,
So he turned it into her mausoleum.
mm. Yeah, the
That's
woman
deep.
gonna put that battery in your back for sure.
Yeah.
For you, build sustainable, civilizations.
And even from the ancestral realm, because shout out to the guy
Yeah.
Casala. He was on last, I think, Wednesday or Thursday, dropping some dope heat in regards to like business and organizations. But he lost his wife. He about to new to her, but and I could still feel the pain and the energy, with him being passionate about doing the work. And I feel like she was the source and the inspiration behind, what I'm saying, him still being convicted and doing the work. So
This is why they tell you behind every great man is a great woman,
facts, yes sir.
right? In the street game, you ain't no pimp if you ain't got no bottom hoe,
Mm-hmm.
right? She the foundation in which his empire is built.
Facts.
But but in the street gang, he don't choose her. She choose him. He don't turn her out. She turned him out. Go back to the map. Remember that song? I choose you. That's what they talking about.
Oh
So the
yeah.
power in the streets, listen, the power in the streets is given to the man to be a purveyor of women.
Right.
The power in the palace is given to the king by the queen and the queen mother. The queen mother is the mother of the king.
Mm-hmm.
The queen is the one that she appointed as his first consort. Right? Once they consummate the power, they activate the magic.
Hmm.
Once the magic is activated, you can't turn back now. Too late, baby. Now it's too late.
Look, listen. Let me ask you this, because this is on topic but off a little bit, but I feel like it fits. So, and because this is some real shit too. Like I see a lot about all the people and all the brothers, who talking about polygamy and polyamorous and da da da. I get it. I know that there is a real, true, bona fide, legitimate reason behind why, we would move in that direction. But one of the things that I found, this is from personal conversations with men and women, primarily even more so from the women, is that a lot of the brothers are doing that just to have sex and not doing it for the sake of building legacy, right? But let me ask y'all this, because for
He's not
me,
qualified.
there you go. Because what I was gonna say is, for me, as a young man, from the time I was kicking it with chicks from a young teen, preteen, whatever, all the way till I think I was about 26, 27 before I got into my first real relationship, because I knew I wasn't ready. And I'm not gonna sell you no pipe dreams, and I'm not gonna bullshit you. I'm gonna keep it a buck. If we're gonna move how we move, let's move how we move. And if you cool with that, let's get it. If you're not, I respect it. But I was real and I kept it 100 and I told the truth. So with that, it didn't like go against anything for me. Like, it didn't slow me down, it didn't hold me down. If anything, I feel like it worked in my favor, because there was times when females was like, nah, I ain't rocking with that. But then they mess around and keep playing with these slime balls and these scumbags who lying and selling wolf tickets. They're like, well, shit, I might as well rock with him, because at least he keeping it a buck with me. I know what it is, and he real. So it's like, for me, I feel like if you're moving with integrity and you're moving on truth, I feel like it could be successful. But a lot of people not
The
doing that. So
women is the one who built the harem. She just send you the sisters of the harem for you to test them and see if she gonna be able to get along with the rest of the sisters and if she gonna be harmonious in the family. This is just the story of 1,001 Arabian Nights, which the lady was scared that because the princess, every time he got done with a chick, he have her beheaded. So every night she decided to tell him a different story to keep him from beheading her. She would always leave a cliffhanger, right? And say, we'll finish it tomorrow for 1,001 nights.
Look, she became a whole Ronda Rhymes out this thing, boy.
Right, but that's straight game from a women's perspective.
Right.
Because
they're the hardest players out.
she learned how to make her presence desired by the crown prince. More so than the other women who he put to death. Whatever they did, they had made him so frustrated that he wanted their head. Now think about women today and say, what type of woman would make me want to take her head? Right? And then it's going to show you one that won't shut up, always accusing you of something, always got negative stuff to say about you, but she supposed to love you.
Right.
She a fraud. So if she a fraud, you send her to the gallows. But the genuine one is going to try to find out, how do I get to this motherfucker heart? I just got to get to his heart. If his heart can see my heart, I'm good. Right? You not finna be at the top of the game and not have a powerhouse of a woman with you, or you not gonna last.
That's facts.
Right? A lot of us, it be our mamas. It be our mamas pushing us to greatness, or our sisters, our favorite auntie. You know what I'm saying? But then there's a small handful of us, there's daddy's boys. And we gonna do it to prove I got my daddy's genes. I'm cut like Pops. I'm a chip off the old block.
Yep. Divine alignment right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, we know the ancestors, the spirit of the ancestors is always present here, man. That's real. Like, even so much so, I can't remember who it was, but somebody like, shout out to everybody because of wearing black, all black. Like, this is never pre-rehearsed. Not one time have we ever spoke about clothes or any of that. But that just goes to me. It shows the divine alignment. And Big Chief, even the tribute to Malcolm episode that we did, it was like 5 different people on that panel. And I promise the guy, you would have thought we all called each other like, yo, I'm rocking this, I'm rocking that, I'm rocking. No, that's divine alignment. But it looked like we all coordinated. Even the comments was like, y'all like a big happy family. Like, it was like we talked about what we was gonna wear, but we don't. But that's the energy though. Like, when it's divine,
frequency,
it's gonna align. That's real.
Yeah, I just put on a t-shirt because I was rushing out the door, go to the barbecue, and I ain't want to wear no wife beater.
Right.
You and me both. Look, I just got home from playing ball. you know, and trying to dust off the old glory days, and I was like, damn, I gotta hurry up, get ready. Let me throw something real quick, throw something together. But that just goes to show, like, real talk, how divine the alignments are, man, and how it all, you know, it flows. You know, when you're in alignment, it flows. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well. There's a lot. Whew. Okay, so let me ask y'all this, Brother Rod, because I know me and B-Dell spoke about it earlier before we came on, but me and him didn't really have a lot of information on it. So I'm wondering if you did. But have you heard anything about? I think they found like some ancient alien artifacts or something to do with ancient extraterrestrial aliens or something like that in Tulum. Did you hear anything about that? Tulum, Mexico?
Look, they didn't find so much extraterrestrial stuff in Mexico that's ancient. I don't even know which particular find you're talking about.
They just found a new crop circle in Mexico too. It looks like an indigenous feather too. It's like it looks like a sun, but it looks like a multitude of indigenous feathers around it.
You said it was in Mexico?
Yeah, supposedly it's in Mexico. Yep.
Was it in a cornfield or a wheat field?
I think it was a wheat field.
Let me see if I can find it real quick too.
Oh, let me go. Let me check.
Let's see. I'm waiting for it now to pull up. But yeah, it's definitely it's a lot. It's a whole lot going on. A whole lot going on. So how does the I know we touched on it, but like how does the strawberry moon symbolize, what was it? You said it was the
it represents the harbinger, it's the harbinger of destruction, really transformation.
Okay. Got you. Now, does because there's a summer solstice coming up in a few days too, does any of this kind of tie into like what we're experiencing in regards to all the other activity?
Well, you look at you got the vernal and the autumn equinox and the summer solstice, all those together create the royal arc. So that represents Goma Ars Dabar, which is wisdom, strength, and beauty. So the apex of, the summer solstice represents strength. Strength in the energy of the sun. So this is where we transition into where the sun is at solar maximum, which will hit, around the time of July. Yep.
I sure. Yeah.
But it's in a cornfield. Sorry. Yeah, it's in a cornfield.
No, it's all good.
I had to ask because if it was a message for the tribes, it had to be in a cornfield.
Yeah, I just looked at it just now. It's in a cornfield. Yeah.
I'm trying to pull it up. What did you say it looked like, B-Dell? Because I pulled up a bunch of them. I want to make sure I get the right one.
I don't know.
Like a reef?
Yeah, it looks like a circle. It's like a sun, and it's got it looked like the ends of a feather. It's a whole bunch.
I think I found it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if this is it. I might have found it. I'm gonna screenshot it, and then I got to convert it because platform won't let me pull it up. Okay, I'm gonna see can I pull that up to convert it into to get it to the stage. But yeah, that's a lot of them crop circles going on too. And even when we were speaking about earlier about communication, right, in regards to like how we're able to communicate if you know Morse codes or the mental nature, or if you know the science or the Odu of E5, like all these they're all different ancient encrypted codes, right? So if I'm not mistaken, as far as my research brings me, these crop circles are also encrypted codes or messages, right? Coming from extraterrestrial civilizations or beings. Is that not correct? Or like, what's the purpose or the reasoning for crop circles?
Those are a lot of them are coded messages that's being sent through an energy portal. Right? And the energy portal just so happened to have an electromagnetic wave that could lay the crops down and form the letter, symbol, or a lot of it is Enochian alphabets too, or something similar.
Is that it, B-Dell?
No, that's not it. That looked like a bicentennial symbol.
Okay, I'm gonna see can I find the one you was talking about too.
That looked like a bicentennial sigil.
Okay, I'm gonna keep looking too, see if I can find it. But that's deep. It's real deep. Okay, so excuse me. So where we are right now, right? In fact, before I go there, what does the smart cities have to do with this, Beta? I know you just dropped one, I think like a couple of days ago, where you was getting into a lot of this stuff, and you were talking about smart cities. I'm like, how does all that play into what we're experiencing now, and why?
Technocratic sorcery, mass control. That's what they want to use. They want to destabilize humanity, and with chaos and order. So that's why I was saying, and all these afflictions is nothing but Babylonian theatrics. But the end goal is actually the sustainable development goals. Technocratic sorcery. That's all they're doing. Surveillance over humanity with the Neuralink. It's really just like a police state on steroids. It's like an ultra-nationalist cybernetic dictatorship. That is their form of a synthetic golden age. Merging humans with machine. That's all.
What is the inspiration behind the over?
You ever see George Jetson?
Yeah.
George Jetson.
Yeah.
George Jetson from the Jetsons cartoon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him.
Okay. In George Jetson, they in the space age, right?
Yeah.
And when they go inside the house, everything is automated, right?
Yeah.
He could tell the thing to clean the dishes. He could tell the thing to bring the food, what he want to eat. All that's called space age technology. If you look at a smart city and it's designed to be space age technology. The only thing was the fallen regime wanted to use it as space age slavery, but we wanted to go into the golden age, space age, with our autonomy intact, with our rights of self-determination unrestricted, right? For our sovereignty to be respected. But in order to be respected, you got to be respectable. So in the Jetsons, you see the space age story they've been preparing us for. Science, it's a magazine called Popular Science. And they got stories all through the 90s of how they was trying to automate cities. And smart cities is the first wave of space age development in modern times, where the space age technology is put on display in a smart city. Everything that's dealing with computers is called smart. And the smart is a computer acronym. And when you realize that the computer is based on the human brain, you already interfaced with the technology. You just have to be upgraded. Right. That's why your 12-strand DNA became a 2-strand. The upgrade downsizes the bulkiness of the object. We don't have to be 300 feet no more. Yeah, it was giants here. We was them. It was giants here. We was walking around. We was giants. We had 12 strands of DNA though. So we was bulky. We used up excessive amounts of oxygen and put excessive amounts of carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. Just like the dinosaurs, and we never caused global warming.
Right.
So why would the carbon now cause global warming when we was giants? Shoot, we was exhaling 100 times more carbon per person than we do now.
Right.
We was much larger. But when the 12 strands begin to be broke down or upgraded, and it's normally done through ultraviolet radiation, and then it downsizes the structure because now you can put more information on less codons. Now you have to just figure out how are we going to train ourselves to use the new technology or the new physiology that we developed as we upgrade it, according to the solar flares and the Schumann resonance telling us to upgrade. Right? The solar flare is going to mutate the cell, and the Schumann resonance is going to tell you how to repair it, put it back in order for the next genetic stock to be developed from us.
Facts. And those smart cities is being weaponized to create light code lockdown. And then, and when you look at the inception of time, even when they talking about, how the so-called God of the Bible created the heavens and the earth in Genesis chapter 1-3, when he was talking about the firmament, right? It's the same thing. It's a technology. It's a technology that cuts off
the firmament is the Pleiadian light lock.
Yeah. Yep.
That's why I think it's in Psalms where actually who can break the bands of the Pleiades, right, and outstrip something of the Arcturus, because that's who put us in the light lock so that we can fight this war out.
The Arcturians or the Palladians?
The Pleiadian light lock.
Yeah.
We know it as the Van Allen belt.
Gotcha.
The Van Allen belt is a belt of radiation. And this is why stuff coming in the atmosphere is consumed by fire, because it's being altered molecularly by the radiation of the Van Allen belt. And that accelerated movement of molecules causes spontaneous combustion.
Especially if you got too much sulfur in your DNA.
Oh yeah, we going in tonight. So let me ask you this, because from where my research brings me, I know there are a group of Palladians that, if I'm not mistaken, they're called like the Seven Sisters or something like that, that's connected to ancient Kemet. So are there two factions of the Palladians, like the Anunnaki, where there's a good set and a bad set, or like are they all the same? Or like, what's the difference between these Palladians?
Pleiadians are not good or bad. They just masters of light magic and love magic. That's it. They don't care about using dark forces and dark energy. They are the masters of light magic. How to bend the rays of light to form radiation barriers is Pleiadian light magic. The Arcturians, right, who is the supporting conjure, is the reason we need the moon. Because they have to use day magic, which is not light magic, right? But it's a Arcturian coded magic. And they support the Pleiadian light lock. That was done by the Galactic Council in the first war in heaven when they all landed on Earth. What the do you think we all here for?
Right.
If Michael and his angels fought the dragon and his angels, and he cast them to Earth, where you think they went? They tell you be careful how you treat a stranger. You might entertain angels unaware. I mean, they look like us.
Right.
They look like people. But we don't know who they is because we don't recognize their works. Because the only way you can tell the tree is by the fruit that it bear. That include the leaves and the bark. Right? So if you don't know how to read the tree, you will never know how to respect the fruit.
That's right. So how does where's the correlation between the Palladians, Orion's belt, and then ancient Kemet? Because I know there's some sort, if I'm not mistaken, there's some sort of connection that the Palladians, is it just the light and the stars? Or like how does that apply?
Look, the blueprint manual is called the Holy Drama or the Osirian Resurrection. This is the map to exit the Pleiadian light lock. The instructions is given to the Orianos, the golden ones. And the golden ones is protected by the Syrians, the black dog, the guardian.
The dog star.
So we see Sirius, we see Dogon culture. We don't know that the Hopi over here is the mirror culture. It's the American version of the Hopi.
Yeah, they are.
Dogon. Same science, different landmass. Right? So they given the map to exit out of the light lock by conquering what we call in the modern times evil. Evil is anything that's in opposition to your greater good. The devil means your enemy. It's warfare. Right? Religion got us on all these ships. Worship is the warship.
Right.
One more time. Warship.
That's
Warship.
not correct spelling. It's APE. APE.
Oh, it's not. Okay, let me swap it out. But warship, you said warship, because you're talking about
worship is the warship.
Right, but you're using a double entendre, and so I want to make sure that people get what you're saying, because that's high level shit. so warship, WORSHIP, and then warship warship, WORSHIP, and then warship, WARSHIP. Can you kind of break down the two and how they correlate?
All vowels are interchangeable in the English language when you're translating the word into English from a foreign language. Worship and warship come from the same Old English origin. So to translate it into modern English, it's the same word. The worship, because the clergy is the first wave of the attack.
It's a war strategy.
Yeah.
It was.
And the ship aspect is the jurisdiction, the admiralty, the water, right? The conquest of Poseidon with the trident, rising from the ocean's depth, unleash the Kraken, right? The worship they had you doing in church is to honor the being on their ship of war. They using you to fight their war against you, but you don't know that you fighting yourself. Because you trapped on the warship and you don't know how to get off. So you thinking by behaving with the edicts of war and submitting to your master that that's how you gonna win your freedom. It's not gonna never happen. Because as soon as your master see you obey, he become aggressively abusive, sociopathic in disposition, a psychopathic racial personality developed from an Iceman inheritance.
Yeah, there's a whole book on that too. I got that book, The Iceman's Inheritance. Very deep book too, because it talks about how when they were in the Caucasus Mountains, and then when they came out with all the vengeance and the rage and the fuckery that they've been pillaging and raping and pillaging the planet with ever since they came out of there. That's a powerful statement. Very
Look,
powerful.
if they got a Iceman inheritance and they inherited that disposition, and you a civilizer that's responsible in curing them from that affliction, the only thing that you can do is put them in a position for them to go through a catharsis. Going through a catharsis, you exercising all of that evil shit. You bring it out your system and you acting it out in real life. If Yakub grafted the devil and he knew that the devil was going to have this disposition, because he knew it when he created it, because he created them to be your enemy.
Right.
So he knew what their disposition was going to be. And then he left Negroes in charge. Right? So the Negroes that he left in charge is responsible for burning off what we call the negative karma of the Iceman inheritance through catharsis by putting them in the pseudo position of power to allow them to rule, because every ethnic race had to have a chance to rule. Their time is up. Our time is now. We gave them their little 15 minutes of fame.
Right.
Right. But what we didn't realize is that once they are exorcised of them so-called demons, right, it was 10 demons and 7 spirits. But the 10 demons, a demon is a daemon. Daemon is a thought form, an egregore, right, which means that it was something created in the mind. 7 spirits, the spirit mean breath. So that means it was 7 people that was breathing the breath that created the egregore. It was a 7 sister flip.
Now, check this out. What's deep? When you said what you just said, for anybody who's ever sent an email that was not able to process or go through. You received a message that came back to you, a bounce back that mentioned the word daemon, or whatever. Is that the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The origin of the word is a thought form. It's the same source and origin as the word genius, which comes from the root word gen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But they switch it up from G to J, or they use them interchangeably.
And sometimes they spell it DJ.
Or the job, the same thing. Is that what you kind of referring
No,
to?
like Gina, spelled DJINA. That's another name for the jinn. In Arabic, sometimes it's spelled DJINN. Right? So the reason that is because it's telling you the story, and you have to find out where the pieces go in your book of life.
Mm-hmm.
We all got a book of life, which allow us to go through life and find out and discover the self. This is what it's all about.
Yeah.
So in the George Washington Challenge, we had to educate ourselves out the condition while they deny us education. We had to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, but they wasn't going to let us have boots. They was going to take all our boots and deny us from being able to purchase boots. Right? So we can't financially come up because they got us blocked. We can't educationally come up. So how do we get educated? We got to figure out how to create a brotherhood. Inner stage right, Prince Hall, Blue House. So then they spread to the Greek fraternities using the Boule philosophy. How do you get the message to the king when you can't talk to the king?
Right.
You play it out in theatrical performance, right? You put it in dance and song, and you become the jester in the court. But you do it from afar so the king can see the performance, but he don't have to be in the room.
Black nobility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you see all of them stomp fests, when they be going to do the stomp off for the fraternities and sororities, that's their equivalent of tribal dancing.
God. Yes,
The
sir.
only ones that's gonna do tribal dances is the ones from America and the ones from Africa. The ones from Europe don't do tribal dances. They do soldier marches.
Right.
They do drills.
Ain't that just what Putin would just had with his with their ceremony when he invited Ibrahim Traore when he had that big display over there in Russia not too long ago? Didn't they just do that? Something similar to that?
He gave him a whole hero's welcome.
Yeah.
That ain't no accident. Ibrahim Traore is doing for Africa what we need to be doing over here. But because the ones of us that's in them positions of power is Snoopy Brown Nose.
Right.
Turncoat double agents.
Yeah,
But my man said I grew up with that. Now he trying to ride. Double agent for the other side. That's why my Glock be so judgmental. Backseat of the rental. Keep my name out your dental.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, boy. And I'm trying to find a comment, man, because I saw somebody. Let me see if I start. I saw somebody had put a comment about something in regards to about like this information comes from the writer of Star Wars, George Lucas. No, George Lucas got this information from our teachers, from our texts. You go look at the walls of Kemet, anywhere else the hell you want to look.
George
He got
Lucas got Star Wars straight out of the Anunnaki tablets.
Yeah.
From us. Like at the end of the day. Like that's nothing new. Like it's just that they didn't whack him because they figured out how he can get money with them. But our teachers that put this out, the Dr. George, the Dr. Blairs, and you know what I'm saying, those masters of the world, they got attempted assassinations or assassinated or they got locked up. You know what I'm saying? Because they were putting the truth out and there was no way that they could take a turn to monetize it like they did with marijuana. When they figured out how to monetize it, that's when they made it legal. They can get money off of it.
What's the common denominator in 99% of all abductions?
What is it?
Genetic testing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why we wasn't getting abducted? Why people like us didn't need to be tested, or the DNA didn't need to be tested? Who is these people testing these people DNA, and why they don't want the DNA of the melanated people of the earth?
Well, based on my independent research, when you're talking about the Greys, particularly, they're really like a Frankenstein extraterrestrial species they put together, so they don't have the ability of reproduction. So they got to together. So they come to this planet to take other.
Hold on. Let's analyze what we're saying now.
Okay. All right.
Why, if they can't reproduce, why is it so many of them?
Because they're creations, they're hybrids. They're pretty much there. What in the spiritual space?
Hold on, stop. They can't reproduce.
Right.
How is it so many of them? It's a way it can happen. But I need you to focus in on what we're saying. They can't reproduce, but it's everybody see them on every ship. Even the people that see the tall grays, they got the little grays with them. Right. That's a template. When they see the big hairy beings, they got the little grays with them. When they see the golden ones, they still got the little grays with them. All of the aliens have little grays with them, and they can't reproduce. There's too many of them. The only way they can do them like that is clone. All right. The next thing is they originally used to look like the sign. Right. But that ain't why they genetic tested. Why did the pale man come to America?
To rape and pillage the land.
No, because we was already getting raped and pillaged before they came.
Oh, okay, I get it. So, like the black mobility used them as pets, just like the rest of the species, the beings that you're talking about use the grays. I got you.
So, in this process, based on what's written in the tablets, they had to get a drop of the blood of the original people. They had other extraterrestrial royalty flying the earth in the early years. This is why you have more information in ancient writings about extraterrestrial communication than modern writings, because they had to give you enough time to clean up the great debauchery, the great genetic waste spill. And to make sure that it's cleaned up, you got to test the ones that look like what you need cleaned up. They ain't got to test us because they know if your melanin is this dark, they already know you can see and your ascension rights is intact.
Right.
But those other people, they didn't know that until like around 1999, they gave them clearance. They got enough of the blood of the royal families of the earth and a couple of other places that they got their ascension rights. Now they have to break past the calcified pineal process. And this is why since 2000, information has been coming out at an alarming rate in order to stimulate their brain so much that it busts that calcification off the pineal. They've been getting light language information. Right now, they've been trying to develop this over the 100-year period from the spiritualist movement of the late 1800s and early 1900s. They was working up systems to break the calcification, but they was also trying to develop a means to get them to amalgamate with the original people. And that's where J. Rogers' writings come in, because he tell you that at first we wouldn't even look at each other. We had no interest. They had to manufacture an interest. How do you manufacture an interest where there is no interest? You forbid the interest that you want. And this is where you come up with your black codes.
Yep.
Everything that they want you to do, but they can't force you to do, they restrict you from doing it so you can rebel against them and do what you wanted to do anyway. It's reverse psychology 101, just the basics.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's facts. Shout out to Jedi Sage. We appreciate your family for the support. Advanced class mere mortals motherfuckers tap out. That's real though, because he definitely in an advanced class tonight, buddy. This is very advanced, high level conversation for sure. You know what? And I'm glad. I wish I would have thought about it. I meant to look this up before we got on, but hopefully y'all seen this. But there was a show that came out, and if I'm not mistaken, excuse me, I want to say it might have been a Marvel show. I can't remember, but anyways, it had Samuel L. Jackson in it as like one of the lead characters. But in this particular show, it was about them and then reptilian beings who there was a factious of positive reptilians and then negative reptilians, but reptilians was a major forefront of this show. Did y'all see that series?
I've seen it before. I didn't watch I didn't finish all of it, but I know what you're talking about.
That's a good series, but when I saw that, I was so blown that I'm like, yo, people would think that that's just a show, but I'm like, yo, they putting the truth like right here in real time in our faces, like, and I don't know how many people really know how truthful that shit.
They can tell you exactly what happened in the situation and change it from nonfiction to fiction and write different names, and you won't never know they told you the whole story.
That's facts.
Because they have to put it in the public domain. Because your right of discovery in the free will universe have to be honored for you to be kept in servitude.
Exactly.
I'm down to 8%, nephew.
I got you. Yeah, we're gonna get ready to wrap it up because we definitely burnt the whole net and YouTube down for sure. I got a question real quick. I'll do like one or two questions if you got it, and then we can get up out of here. So one of these questions is, do we have guests in this family discussion? I think they're asking about how do white people fit into this discussion.
We just got done telling you. Literally.
Right.
We literally just got done telling you what they role was. So when you get off, go back from this part, rewind it about 5 minutes and listen to it again.
Listen, that's funny because part of it's on me too, because it's a lot of chat, it's a lot of comments, y'all. So I'm trying my best to keep up. But y'all doing your thing. Please keep doing it. I'm not complaining by the least, but it's just a little challenge for me to keep up with all of them to stay on point in regards to the timing of them. But with that, I'll go ahead before we get out of here, man, because like I said, the first one was a classic. I knew this was going to be epic, and I mean the tribe, they already saying it too. Where do we go from here, and what are the marching orders for those who are tapped in and operating on this frequency with us?
Don't participate in no artificial riots. Don't let them see you sweat. Just ignore them. What they got going on have nothing to do with us, right? Our non-participation collapse the system. They need our energy involved in their shenanigans in order for them to push their agenda further. We need to not participate in order for their agenda to crumble. Right? So you see brothers down there in LA sitting on bus benches while all of the paid protesters is protesting. They ain't even moving. They like watching a movie. That's what we need to be doing. We the watchers now. We just watching it go past, watching it fall, crumble. We just the watchers. We don't got to do nothing. We did everything we supposed to do when we was doing all that suffering. We ain't got to do nothing now. Just wait it out. Hurry up and wait.
Yep. And
yeah, because they're doing it to each other. It's a civil war.
Yep. Follow the path of the middle way.
Yep.
Stay on the path of Malakut and just, resurrect your own spiritual journey. Just let the house of cards fall. That's really what you got to do. It's one of those things, like I said, it's not our fight. We ain't got nothing to do with that shit.
Look, this is the last thing I want to say. We have treaties. Larry got treaties with Latin counts, with El Chapo and other Mexicans from the street. Angel Bay got treaties with Latin kings and various other Spanish groups. We don't have a problem with Mexicans. What we have a problem with is participating in a fabricated false narrative that has nothing to do with the Mexicans or us. They don't have nothing to do with the Mexicans, what's going on. That's all staged. People are paid to come there that don't even live there to protest. Let that sink in. The real Mexican connection we have is with some people called the Zapatista, the people that live in the hills in Mexico that follow the teachings of Emilio Zapata, that the settlers who masquerading as Mexicans has been persecuting ever since they've been there. The Afro-Mexicans, they call the ones in the inner city. We had no problem with them. We got a problem with the fakes and the frauds, the ones that come over here and think they better than us.
Yep.
But the ones that come over here and hang out with us, brothers from a lighter shade of brown type Mexicans, we got no problem with them. They know the truth. Kareem Oahu be on here dropping more historical information on YouTube than half the brothers out here that don't know who they are, that think they know.
That's facts. Shout out to Nina to Hack. Yeah, boy. I like to say that when things get real hot and greasy and fired up around here. So she hit it. I don't know if she been watching it. That's her thing, but I be saying it. Yeah, boy. Yes, sir. Listen,
shout out to Flavor Flav, chief on the Shinnecock Nation.
Yeah, boy. Listen, on a lighter note too. That's real though, because I remember I went to Mexico years ago, and this was back when they had like the little restrictions on the cruise where if you go out, you enter at your own risk. Man, me and my pops was out there riding damn scooters all throughout the damn island. We was getting nothing but love from the Mexicans, bro. I'm talking about, and I saw them riding in pickup trucks with choppers and riding on bikes with all black with choppers on their back.
And so we got to be more scholastic and more what they call politically correct. I don't believe in being politically correct, but it's certain stuff that they giving us a hard time if we say so. We're going to try our best. I don't know how good I'm going to be out there. I'm going to do the best I can, man, but I might slip up here and there, you know. So, but we got to be more scholarly in the delivery of what we're talking about today. So it might not be as galvanizing as it would be with the seasoning of the special words that we like to use.
Yeah.
So we had to get that disclaimer out the way.
Yeah. All right. So Rod, now this is an interesting thing. So I've been spending Dr. Malachi York is still in jail, and we know Larry to get released. And so I've been working on some on his case. And so I'm gonna drop it on his birthday on Thursday. And man, it's interesting. AI is interesting. So I went to the NewapianFact.com. If you wanted to find out about Dr. Malachi's York case, you can go to